Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's webinar on Boschendal in South Africa. Boschendal joined the Small World Marketing Portfolio in September last year, and is actually our first South African property or client that we've taken on from a sales perspective. We've done PR for quite a few South African properties, but never really sales. And the reason why is I wanted to wait until I found a South African property that really was somewhere for us that was very, very special, and really was very different and unique, and somewhere that we could really get behind and passionately promote. Boschendal I've known for quite a few years. We actually went to stay there as a family a few years ago, and actually then again at Easter last year. And Matt and India Stevens, who are behind the hospitality side of the farm, then approached us to help them with their UK and European sales in this last summer. And we were delighted to accept, because for me, Boschendal just really epitomises so many wonderful things about South Africa. Not only the amazing food and wine, but the whole farm. You know, it's over 1,800 hectares of unbelievable nature reserve, farmland. And really, in the last 6 years, they've completely transformed the whole wine estate. It is South Africa's second oldest wine estate, and it was founded in 1685. But 6 years ago, they had a new owner who really has, with the team, have really kind of passionately reinvigorated particularly the farming side of the property. And this is celebrated throughout the whole stay at Boschendal. It's an integral part of your stay. And I think particularly with what we're going through at the moment, and with what clients are going to start wanting to look for in terms of space, independence, but still not compromising on that experience, Boschendal, I think, would be a perfect option for guests who want to be a little bit more reticent about being in somewhere too busy. So there are, well, first of all, where is Boschendal? So it's about a 40-minute drive from Cape Town Airport. So it's very, very accessible to the city. It takes just over an hour to get into the city, depending on traffic. But it's amazing, because literally within 45 minutes, you could have come off the plane, left the airport, and be in this completely beautiful different area. It's only a 10-minute drive to Franschhoek. So for those who are keen to experience what the winelands have to offer, and Franschhoek is really the heart of that, it's only 10 minutes outside the village. So it's a great location for either guests who want to combine with a stay in Franschhoek, or actually base themselves at Boschendal and very, very easily drive into Franschhoek. It's also on the wine tram route. For those of you who know the wine trams, it's one of the stops on the wine tram route, which is quite fun, because you can then go into Franschhoek and then get the wine tram back, and then you can kind of wobble off the tram station and back into the farm. So this is the layout of the farm. As I say, it's spread over 1,800 hectares. So it's absolutely enormous, and it's at the foot of the Siemensberg Mountains, which are here back, which just form this amazing, beautiful backdrop wherever you are on the farm. The farm is almost kind of split into two. So the northern part above this road here is mostly accommodation, and then below the black line, which is the road, is the main original manor house, and what they call the bath, which is the old original manor house outbuilding. So, which is now the deli, the butchery, farm shop, and the bath restaurant, which is our more kind of formal dining. It's not formal, but compared to the deli, it's a bit more formal. You then have the beautiful gardens just behind the bath restaurant, and you have the only accommodation which is on this side of the road is the bath garden suites. There are 7 of these, and these are particularly well suited for maybe couples travelling together, because they are one bedroom suite, either small or large. The large ones definitely have plenty of space to fit an extra bed in, but what we find is particularly for honeymooners or couples travelling together, these bath garden suites work really well. And I'll talk to you about the other accommodation options which are on the northern kind of side of the road. Near the main manor house area, we also have our Treehouse, which is an amazing Eduplay centre for children, which I'll talk to you about later on. It launched at the beginning of last year, and it's just really incredible for families and for guests who are coming to stay there who have little kiddies. And then over here we have the winery, where we do a wine tasting, the cellar door, and the Rhodes homestead as well. So they do quite a few. This is the Rhodes Picnics. This is where we have the Boschendal Picnics, are very iconic, and they're held in 2 different locations. During the week, they're held in the Rose Gardens here, and at the weekend they're held in here, which is where they have where the bandstand is, and they have live music. So if you can encourage your guests to go at the weekends, then do, because that with live music is just sensational under the big trees. But if not, it's still a beautiful spot over in the Rose Garden Picnics. So Boschendal also has 65 kilometres of mountain bike trails. They have a mountain bike MTB trail centre where you can hire bikes from, and also horse riding trails as well. They have a horse riding centre. So it really is a unique combination of having the vineyard and the food, but also this huge variety of activities you can get involved with. So this is it's actually a PDF that I'll send to you, but it's quite useful to run through now, just to give you a brief kind of overview of what Boschendal has to offer. So here is our accommodation. So we have the VAF cottages, which are the ones that are located near the original manor house. You then have, there are over 40 cottages in Boschendal, so there's a huge variety of different accommodation types. You then have the Orchard Cottages, which are, the rest of these cottages or accommodations are all located over the other side of the road, but spread over a huge area, so there's plenty of space. You have the Orchard Cottages, which are, there are 14 of them, and they range from 1 bedroom through to 4 bedroom, and these work particularly well for families or for small groups travelling together, because they are basically, all the accommodation has their own little kitchenette area and braai area, so you can be either quite self-catered, or you can have food from the deli or go to the restaurant, so it's a really nice combination of both. We also have a farm shop where you can purchase produce from the farm shop to cook on your braai. And if you want help with your braai, they can definitely give you guidance or really pretty much set it all up for you, and all you have to do is cook it. But all the accommodation have this flexible kind of self-catering option as well. So you have Orchard Cottages, of which there are 14. You then have the Retreat, of which there are 17, and they are all 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom cottages. Rhodes, Trout, and Mountain Villa are our exclusive use villas or properties, which I'll talk to you about later on. Now, on this side here, we have Eat and Drink. So you have the VAF restaurant, which is our contemporary kind of, it's all kind of farm to table, farm to fork dining experience. 90% of the produce on the farm is produced on the farm. The remaining 10% is predominantly fish. Deli is our more informal bistro style eating establishment. We also have the picnics that I spoke about, that I'll talk about later on. We then have our farm shop and butcheries. If you want to buy your own produce, you can. Every guest gets a hamper when they first arrive and a bottle of wine. So they have kind of the basics to keep them going within their cottages. You also have a wine tasting included in your stay, and a vineyard and cellar tour as well. So if you wanted to, so what's included is you've got hiking trails. You've got an enormous amount of hiking trails up into the Siemensberg Mountains and all around the estate. We have the garden tour. We really, really encourage our guests to come and really kind of embrace what the farm is about, which is about producing this amazing produce, and really kind of, they focus a lot on really, establishing an amazing biodiversity amongst the farm. We have our farm tours again, so the team are always very, very proud of showing guests their farm. And then we have our Treehouse, which is the Edu Centre. This is all included in the stay. And then mountain biking and fishing and swimming as well. So we have lots of different dams on the estate which you can go and explore and do some open water swimming. Additional activities are, we have horse riding, the Vineyard Adventure, and yoga as well. So there's a huge amount to do. Really, I would say you don't want to stay on Boschendal any less than 4 nights, because of the variety of things you have to offer, and that will also give you time to spend like a day or half a day in Franschhoek as well. So just talking about the accommodation. So we have 7 of the VAF suites, which are near the main manor house, 14 of the Orchard Cottages, 17 of the 2-bedroom cottages and Retreat. And Retreat is used particularly for, often if we have weddings, they'll take over the whole of the retreat, or if we have conferences, it's completely separate. So it's a very useful space for, maybe corporates or also individuals. Like if people want to come and take a 2-bedroom little cottage and Retreat, that's no problem at all. It's really flexible using space in terms of whether it's combining with business or leisure. Obviously, if someone's taking it over for business, there'll be no leisure bookings. But I'll show you later on, they've got some really lovely communal areas as well. And then we have, very excitingly, our new tented camp, which was due to open on the 1st of April, but due to the current situation is now being pushed back to the 1st to August. So these are going to be 7 tents, and they're located a 20-minute drive up into the Siemensberg Mountains. So the idea is that it's a complete digital detox. It's like being on safari, but only 45 minutes from the airport in Cape Town. So, and then we have our exclusive use houses. So we have Trout Cottage. These prices just give you a guide price. So we have different prices according to the season, but this is kind of lowest and highest price. So you can see the price point. And also this price is based on a B&B rate. You also have your wine included. You have the activities I spoke about included as well. So this is the rate per cottage, not per room. So Trout Cottage is 3-bedroom, and Rhodes Cottage seats 10. It's 5-bedroom in total, 3 in the main cottage and 2 in the output in the kind of a barn in the garden. And then we have our mountain villa, which is a new addition to the Boschendal portfolio. This is 6 bedrooms, and it originally was going to be, it had been on the farm for quite a while, some had been renting out privately. Boschendal have now taken it back over, and they originally were going to make it into a more kind of flexible, maybe almost like a small boutique hotel concept, the individual rooms. But actually now, because of what's going on, and there's going to be much more demand for exclusive use properties and people wanting to come where they have space and taking over somewhere in its entirety, they're going to keep it out actually as it is, as a villa, 6 bedrooms. And this has just got the most amazing view, which I'll show you later on. So the RAF garden suites, so these are the ones really in the main kind of hub of it, or the main heart of Boschendal. And these are really good for couples, because they're 1 bedroom and they have a very large living and dining area. And then if you wanted to put an extra bedroom in there, there's plenty of space. But most of the families tend to go to the Orchard Cottages, which are about less than a 5-minute cycle ride away from the main manor house. So everything, although it's spread over a huge area, is very safe and it's very accessible to get around. Most people, when they arrive, will hire bikes and use those bikes to get around, but it is also, if you have a car, you can drive, but I just think it's much nicer cycling, particularly for families. So the Orchard Cottages are located in this amazing spot, which, as the name suggests, with the orchards, so green and lush. These are the 2-bedroom cottages, so 1 bedroom this side and 1 bedroom this side. And in the middle, you have a kitchenette area, sitting room, dining area, and then the outside bright area as well. And all the cottages open onto a beautiful big green kind of lawn, and then a communal swimming pool as well, which is beautiful, which is here. The Orchard Cottages would have they have a concierge up there. So if you need anything, you don't need to go all the way back to the main manor house area, to the back area. You can actually ask your concierge, who will be based there all the time. So that's quite nice. Then the retreat are the 17 2-bedroom units. Again, a beautiful space for taking over in its entirety if you had a wedding or a big group coming. Really quite contemporary in style. These really cool communal areas, and you can see now why it also works really well for corporates as well. We have a cinema area, media conference room, but also those rooms can be taken as individual units as well. So Rhodes Cottage is really our kind of very historical cottage. It was built for Cecil Rhodes, and he apparently stayed there just 1 night, and then sadly he passed away, not in the cottage, but he only got to stay in there for 1 night, which is a real shame. But it's a beautiful historical cottage, and you'll see with the design that they've really kept it. They really kind of celebrated its heritage by keeping it more kind of traditional in style. Rhodes Cottage will has its own team of staff. There are 5 bedrooms in total, 3 in the main house, and then 2 in the cottage in the annex, in the garden. Beautiful gardens and this lovely, very natural swimming pool as well. So it's a great spot for people who want to really kind of appreciate the historical element of Boschendal. It dates back to 1685, so it is incredible kind of historical property as well. Then this is the lake, but the open water lake by Trout Cottage, but any guest can use this lake. So Trout Cottage is a 3-bedroom, and it's located right up in the hills, so it's perfect for people who want somewhere just completely stepping away from it and private. And then this is our mountain villa. So this is even further up. This has got the most sensational views. You look at the swimming pool and then the views, because it's up in the foot of the Siemensberg Mountains. It's got this elevated panorama over the estate, and really, really coolly designed. And then our Tenter Camp, which, as I say, was due to open in April, but is now opening in August. So the Tenter Camp is very much like being on safari. The Tenter Camp rate is all-inclusive. So it's exactly like being on safari. You leave your car in the main car park in Boschendal. You get met by our safari vehicle and driven up 20 minutes up into the mountains, into these 7 different tent units and a communal area as well. What's included, well, really everything's included in your stay, in terms of like the hiking, the open water swimming, the food and drink, yoga. You have a guide there, so he can take you on guided hikes. It's just somewhere that you'd stay for probably a couple of nights for a complete digital detox. It's very, very peaceful up there. But then you can also get involved with the farm if you wanted to, like do the Vineyard Adventure, the horse riding, mountain biking. The Vineyard Adventure is a really cool concept which we've launched quite recently, which basically is like wine tasting in 3 different locations. So you start up in the mountains with your kind of sparkling wine, then you come down and have a white wine in the vineyards, and then you have the red wine in the farm. So it's a really nice way of actually incorporating wine tasting and showcasing the farm as well. And yeah, so the tender camp has been really well received. There's a lot of demand for it already, and I think it will work really well for guests who maybe want to have a kind of combination of a real kind of immersion into the winelands and the food and the drink, but also maybe have a couple of nights staying in Boschendal and the cottages, and then 2 nights staying up in the farm would be, you know, almost a holiday in its own right. So this is a communal area which obviously we're still working on, so I haven't got finished images of, but overlooking the beautiful lake as well. So stunning spot, and really you're going to be busy walking, mountain biking, guided treks, just a stunning spot over an open lake, and you know, with these elevated views over the valley, really over the whole Franschhoek Valley. So it's just a really cool, different offering for the winelands. The food is all cooked on site, cooked predominantly over the open fire. So lots of kind of barbecues and, you know, all the food produced from the farm. So this is the location of it, and at the foot of the mountains. So a very, very special spot. And actually I've got a really good film that I'll send you in our follow-up to our webinar that just is just beautiful. So then down to the farm. So really every guest coming to Boschendal is actively encouraged to get out on the farm and to experience it and to walk around it and to have a tour and to learn about what they've been doing. You know, they've got grass-fed Angus cattle, forest-fed pigs, got free-range chickens, and they work alongside the farmers to replenish and revitalise the soils. So it's very much, life in Boschendal is still quite kind of, the philosophy is living the farm. And really connecting the guests to their environment, which is just a stunning, stunning environment to be. So you can either walk around the gardens yourself, or you can, you know, get the gardeners to help you harvest whatever food. The restaurants are, because they use 90% of the produce that's come from the farm. It's so they literally can almost change the menus daily according to what's been harvested. Sometimes even twice daily if they've suddenly got a glut of certain kind of produce that's come into harvest. It's just, you know, what you eat is literally being picked from the farm just kind of hours beforehand. They also do bread making courses, so you can do, this is complimentary for guests. You can in the morning go and do some bread making and then make your own bread for breakfast. This is a VAF restaurant which overlooks the garden and is our contemporary, I suppose slightly more formal dining, but it's still pretty informal. And this is if you are staying in the cottages and you wanted to have your breakfast in the main restaurant, this is where you come. So you either have your breakfast hamper and have it in your cottages, or you can come down to the main restaurant and have breakfast there. So do you see the produce produced on the farm is just phenomenal. The food in South Africa is amazing, you know, but here it is really quite spectacular and so healthy and fresh. And then we have our deli, which is our more kind of informal dining, where you can come for salads and burgers. And we have often people come from outside of Boschendal to come for lunch here. And then we also have our wine, obviously the wine shop, but also our shop, farm shop. So guests can choose the vegetables they want to cook, or or get a delivery from the farm shop. And then our picnics. So these Boschendal picnics are really quite iconic. They've been going for years and years and years, and they are just an amazing way to while away the afternoon. You, as I mentioned earlier, they're either held in the Rose Garden during the week or in the main kind of VAF area at weekends with live music. And in the VAF area, they have these big hammocks and big bean bags, and you can literally have your hamper and your wine, and just, it honestly was one of our highlights when we went to South Africa with the kids, because they have space to run around, and you have obviously all the time in the world to just enjoy the food and drink, so it's heaven. The Rose Garden picnics are done at tables and chairs, like this one here, but equally beautiful, beautiful backdrop to the picnics. And obviously all the produce is produced on the farm, and the wine is produced on the farm as well. Obviously wine tasting is an integral part of what we offer. Boschendal wine is world renowned and award winning. And then these are the Vineyard Adventures, which I mentioned earlier, which are wine tasting in 3 different locations around the farm. And then obviously the farm tour, which really every guest should do. And mountain biking. The trails vary from quite challenging to very easy. We went with our kids, the oldest one was 10, so it was very, very easy to cycle around some of the trails. And then horse riding as well. It's just the most beautiful way of going through the vineyards is by horseback. And then our treehouse. So this is an amazing Eduplay centre, and it really is phenomenal what they've done. So what they've done is really kind of, it's again an extension of the celebration of the farm. So when guests arrive, when the kids arrive, they get their own little hat and their wellies and their own locker, and they're taken through, and they are in this area here. They have really cool kind of things like snake skins and elements from the farm in a glass jars, and they'll sit and learn about the farm and what they want to do, and then they'll get taken out and do activities outside. They'll get taken out into the farm and they go foraging for their food. They pick the produce they're going to have for their lunch or their dinner. They go and pick the eggs and the chickens, and they learn about what they're picking, and then they actually cook it over they don't, the staff with the kids' help, cook it over an open fire, and they actually cook their own lunch or dinner whilst they're there, which they just loved. At the end of the day, they then come to this amazing screening room where they watch things like David Attenborough and nature documentaries and kind of very wholesome viewing. And these shelves on the side, actually, they've got seats built into them. That circle thing's actually a seat. So when we took our kids last year, we went to collect them. We went for dinner at the Bath restaurant. And the Treehouse is complimentary for anyone staying at Boschendal. There's no extra charge. You just have to book your children in. So we put them in while we went to the Bath restaurant for dinner. And it was lovely as we came back, and all the kids were sitting in these seats hidden in the shelves on the wall. They just did not want to leave. They'd had such a great time. So it was a really real success story, the Edu Centre, the Treehouse. This is the olive press, which we hold weddings in. As you can imagine, Boschendal is the most perfect wedding venue. And actually, I was talking to India, who's in charge of the hospitality at Boschendal yesterday, and she was saying they're thinking about potentially making olive press into a restaurant where they can have much more space between the tables, and the chefs can be, obviously the kitchen's much bigger, so the chefs can also practice social distancing as well. So when they're not using it for events, they may well turn this into a restaurant as well. In fact, actually, one of the world's most famous wedding designers, I've completely forgotten his name, but if you've gone to Boschendal Instagram, you'll see it. He got married here back in February. So, the world's leading wedding designer gets married at Boschendal. That's quite an accolade for the destination. So really, in summary, Boschendal, I think, for me, is a really unique combination of giving you a real taste and experience of the winelands, but also giving you space and nature and the farm, and just so many different elements to appreciate as well while you're there. For families, it's a no-brainer. Literally, it is. The price point is great, the accommodation is great. They've got space, they've got the Edu Centre. It's somewhere where your children will be really, really happy, and you can actually chill out and do wine tasting and do the different elements. Knowing that they're having a great time as well. And it's only 45 minutes from Cape Town Airport, and it really, in terms of what the post-COVID-19 traveller is looking for, it's space, it's independence. You can be self-catering if you want to. They are currently practicing. They put in place all the new COVID-19 policies, and they're opening Boschendal up slowly to business travel now. So they have a small number of people coming through, just using it as maybe or people who are travelling in the area. So they're not going to be full by any means, but what's good is it's going to give the staff a chance to start using the policies and procedures that have been implemented, and getting confidence in this new way of welcoming guests. So by the time the leisure travel comes back, they would have had quite a few months of, looking after guests in this new way, and they'll be able to offer the guest the wide spectrum of someone who doesn't want to have any contact at all, so does virtual check-ins, just literally doesn't have any housekeeping almost, doesn't see anyone for 4 days, to someone who actually wants that very much hands-on approach that Boschendal have been so good at doing in previous years, but have to now change. So they'll really be able to offer that flexibility of whatever your guest wants. They'll be able to look after them the way they want. So that is the end of the webinar. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will now answer any questions. Thanks a lot.